Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at Gulfstream Park on Sunday. Race number 8, 5 furlongs on the turf. Some nice fillies and mares in the Captiva Island Stakes. Let's take a peek at this field. We've got 8 in here, but the one they're all going to have to beat is the number 1, Stone Silent. She's been on a roll for Brian Lynch.
The last two races really good, Dan, and it's nice that she's shown that rating ability in those last two wins too, because that could come into play here. I think she's the horse to beat, but make no mistake, this race is tougher than the one that she just won.
You make an excellent point about her versatility because earlier in her career, she seemed like a true speed demon. But as she's matured, she's shown a willingness to sit off horses if necessary. Let's see where Timeform US has her on their pace projector. And they have her sitting right in behind the lead. The number 3, Fulminate, is certainly a fast horse, getting blinkers for the first time. The 8, Future Is Now, is a lightly raced horse with speed. But Stone Silent's going to be right there when they turn for home.
Yeah, she's probably going to get another good trip in this race. Again, just the fact that she can rate and run is a real advantage for her. And I did. Time Form US doesn't have this, red coded as a fast pace. I think there is a chance this pace is fast though.
And if it is fast, maybe the 6 Accomplished Girl can make up some late ground, cutting back in distance. She has the LP Chicklet, which means she has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. Stone Silent was a really astute purchase by these connections. They got her for $170,000 to Keeneland November, and all she's done is win 2 stakes races at Gulfstream Sprinting, including this ladies turf sprint last time out, where she broke from the rail, as she will on Sunday, eased to the outside, went after the leader, and goes about her business.
Yeah, this is good stuff here. Again, I think this race is tougher than the one we're watching right now, but she just wins this race super easily. That's Fulminate, who's also backing her. She just powered over through the stretch there and left behind. Just another really strong performance. She's the horse to beat here.
The number 2 is the Arcadian Way. Now, she finished up the track in the race we just showed you, finishing last of 8. It was also her first start since a summer vacation for Josie Carroll, so there's a chance she wasn't really cranked up. I think it's a good sign that they throw her right back into the stakes competition. Something tells me she'll improve once they get back to Woodbine over the Synth.
That's probably true, but she's not as bad as that last running line makes her look either. Dan, she got bumped at the start of that race. She did not get a good trip in there. And then she just didn't really do any running. I think she'll run better in here. I still think it's hard to make her on top in this race. So this is a tough field.
Fulminate is the number 3, and she could get to the front, as she did in the ladies' turf sprint, although no match when Stone Silent came calling for her in the stretch. Just throw out her last race, the Lightning City at Tampa Bay, because she missed the break completely. And when you do that, you got no shot at 5/8.
That's true. She was on short rest in that spot too, and now they just come right back again. So they obviously feel like she's in really good form. She's just kind of hard to like in this race with all the speed to her outside and that running line 2 starts back where she was basically loose and Stone Silent ran her over.
The number 4, Saul Hop's really going to be hoping for a fast pace. A similar situation as the race we're going to see right now at Tampa Bay recently, going 5/8 in a second level allowance. Those fractions are legit. 20-3, 43-4. This pace falls apart, and Saul Hope takes advantage.
Yeah, she does get a good tripper, but you saw there in mid-stretch that she had to sort of bump her way out to the clear there because it wasn't opening up for her, and she wins this race easily. She doesn't have the credentials of some of the other horses that she's facing in here, but she's a good turf sprinter, and she can close in her races, which could really be key here.
Irad Ortiz picks up the mount. The number 5 is Sarah Mia. This horse ran okay in her first start off of a lengthy layoff. This is a Tapeta race, a $35,000 beaten claimer, and Sarah Mia ran an okay second. The horse that beat her came right back to win with an 81 buyer and a $35,000 optional claimer. And again, this race is off of a year-and-a-half layoff. Sarah Mia ran fine. Different ball game, though. Sprinting now on turf against stakes horses.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't think you want to be too hard on her for this performance. She probably needed this one. At least she's running on at the end of the race, Dan. But she just looks a little bit cheap on paper. I think she's just going to sit back and hope for a meltdown here.
Accomplished Girl, the number 6, is a graded stakes winner over the Tapeta surface sprinting at Presque Isle Downs. Earned a graded stakes place in going a mile at Gulfstream Park 2 starts back, and that was just in over her head from a distance and class standpoint in the Pegasus World Cup filly and mare turf war. She carved out some legitimate fractions. They really put the heat on her throughout that third quarter, and she held in there till just about the 8th pole before tiring. We usually don't like horses cutting back so drastically to this 5/8 of a mile distance, but do you think her speed will at least keep her in it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a valid way to look at her, Dan. I really it's not easy to cut back from 8.5 to 5 furlongs. I mean, especially she has enough speed and she's certainly a quality filly. I think she ran really well in those last two races when they stretched her out against better horses. I mean, she's not that hard to make a case for, but she's not going to be a great price in this race. And I think it really works against her, cutting back this drastically in distance.
Secret Money is the number 7, and I like what she's done in short sprints. She's won a grade 3 at Kentucky Downs going 6.5. She's competed well at Woodbine going 6.5.
Yeah.
But if you go all the way back, her 5 and 5.5 furlong races are fine. I'm really not interested in her most recent start, a loss at Turfway Park over the synthetic. She faced a couple of next out winners, and that's just not her surface.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, and I agree with you too. All of her turf sprints are good, even the shorter ones. The 6.5 races they're really good too. I mean, I don't get too excited about the Kentucky Downs race, but she was good that day. She had an impossible trip in that Woodbine race and ran great there. Really unlucky not to win. And going shorter to me is not a problem for her. She's going to be off the pace, Dan, but she's not slow early. I don't expect her to be last.
I was very impressed with the number 8 Future Is Now's first two turf starts, sprinting in the Mid-Atlantic region, running at Colonial, then at Pimlico. And they tried her in a stakes race during the Belmont at the Big A meet, and she showed some speed that day and then got tired. So she has to prove she's a stakes horse. At least she's coming into this race in good form. Here's her most recent start last month. It's an allowance event, and she went pretty fast on the lead, Mike, and sprints on home. Again, a 3-length win going 5/8 of a mile is pretty impressive.
Yeah, she was good in here. I got back on track in this race too, because I didn't really like her performance 2 starts back when Fulminate beat her. But this was a good performance. She's still really lightly raced. She's really fast. 5 furlongs probably really works for her. I mean, she's a really good price on the morning line. Then I wouldn't totally discount her.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Captiva Island, Sunday's feature at Gulfstream. You're going with Secret Money, and Secret Money is a horse that's quick enough to get position without being just this out and out blazer that's going to get cooked on a speed duel. And I like her getting back to turf. I think 5 is a little sharp,
Me too.
but I think she could do it with the right trip.
Me too. Just hoping she gets the right trip in this race because I think she might be as talented as anyone in this field. And she's 12 to 1 on the morning line. You might not do that well, but you're going to get a price on her.
Accomplished Girl certainly fits from a class standpoint, from a buyer speed figure standpoint. The cutback in distance is a big concern. Is she going to be outrun early? I'm not happy to see that 2 to 1 on the morning line. That's way too low for me. I would need at least 3 to consider playing her, but she has run well this Gulfstream meet. 6187 for me, 7146 for mine. It's a nice race. The Captiva Island, and we'll see if Stone Silent can make it 3 stakes in a row at Gulfstream this winter. Best of luck.